this is John Costa, and we're still at Phoenix Square for the Red Fee Blue event. And I've been joined by Rob and Ed from Harlequins Kiss. Well, thank you very much for agreeing to talk to me.
Thanks for having us.
What time are you on this evening at the cookie jar?
I think it's about 20 past 8ish, yeah.
Okay, so what can I expect if I come along to see Harlequins Kiss for the first time?
An explosion of a rock and roll extravaganza. No, we do put a lot into the performance itself. We've always been very solid and very tight. We rehearse endlessly, and what this tends to mean is that we can always let ourselves go a little bit, always relax, and always really push it out and throw it out at the audience. We like to bring the audience in. We like to really get people involved, and we love to really just give absolutely everything every time we're out there. And it won't just be us sitting playing our instruments. It really will be a case of us throwing ourselves straight into the crowd.
Excellent. So Ed, what kind of music can we expect?
Well, I'm very blues influenced myself, but we've got quite an odd mix and intermeshing of styles and influences, really. Yes, I'm quite blues influenced. Our drummer's far more influenced by the 80s rock, and Andre seems to be able to merge the two with his guitar really well and actually give it a cohesive sound without taking anything away from either side.
So tell us a little bit about, if you can as well, Rob, about sort of Harlequins Kiss and how it came about and how long you've been in existence.
Now that is a vexed question. It started in a student union bar in Birmingham about 5 years ago now. Ed and I were, discussing the state of the music industry, and what was going through my mind at the time was how classic rock as such was being ignored, partially because the rock audience is so heavy on a sort of guitar fetish that a lot of the things that make music accessible to the general audience was starting to be ignored by the rock scene. And what we wanted to do was to push out something that was still relevant, still accessible, not looking back at the 70s and 80s and fetishizing the 70s and 80s, to actually use something that was familiar but to create a very new sound with it. So we got together, we went through various musicians over the course of the first 4 years. Some lineups were more stable than others, and eventually we took on a friend of mine, Andre, who's a very experienced guitarist. He's been playing since he was 6 years old, and he's in his mid-40s now. And through internet advertisements, we picked up Andy, the drummer, and the whole thing just meshed. We had a very coherent sound despite some very diverse musical influences.
Okay, so Ed, just to finish off, tell us a little bit about the demo that you've got out at the moment.
Well, we put it together, recorded it at Rabana's Studios. Basically a live recording, so all the instruments done together, all mic'd up, a few takes per track. Then the vocals done over the top afterwards, so that there wouldn't be any bleed through. And it's 3 of our newer songs, relatively newer songs, really.
For the most part, yeah.
Well, Rob, Ed, Harlequins Kiss, thank you very much for agreeing to talk to us, and enjoy the after party this evening at 8:20 at the Cookie Jar. They can catch you, is that correct?
Yes, yeah.
Perfect. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks.